So, in this video, we are going to talk about financial um, introduction part of this book. And at first, so generally, we are going to talk about a lot of concepts. So first, what is financial assets? So generally, we can categorize assets into tangible and intangible, and financial assets is intangible. So here, tangible means something we can touch, which is physical real estate, like buildings, land, or machinery. They are both real, and it can be tangible. But here, in this book, we are talking about financial assets, which is intangible. So the next concept is issuer, which means who publish this financial assets. Like we can have loan by bank, then the bank can be the issuer. And also we can have bonds issued by the government, then the government will become the issuer. So each financial asset would have a issuer. Then a debt and equity instruments. So the difference is that debt is often a fixed amount, like the car loan. You will pay money in the future as a fixed rate. But we also have equity instrument, which can be like the stock, which means that we have a portion instead of a fixed number of something. It can be the stock of a company, and maybe we can enjoy 20% over income, but the income number is unfixed. And in next, we talk about the price of our financial asset and its risk. So here I also introduce a basic principle, which where the price of financial assets is depends on its present value or its expected cash flow. So what is cash flow? So for example, we are buying something which can give us interest, or such as a loan, a bond from the government, which promise to give me around $100 every month. So in total, is for 1 year, for 10 months, is around $1,000. So this means we will have a cash flow in the future, and we can measure the price turn into the current price. But we know that it cannot be equal to 1,000 because the money in the future does not equal to the same amount of money now, because we can maybe use it to investigate. So so usually the amount of money now is larger than the amount in the future. So there is some conversion needs to be done before we calculate the numbers. And besides the amount, we also need to mention the degree of certainty, which is the risk. So generally, there are two important concepts in the measure of the price of the financial assets. We not only need to calculate the cash flow in the future, we also need to measure the certainty. Like we are trying to maybe lend some money to somebody else, and he promised he will pay back in the future with double of the price. But is that good? It depends how many percent of the probability that the man would pay back. Okay. And also, we need to measure its purchasing power. For example, we may lend $100 to someone, and he pay back in a very long future, maybe in 100 years. Then its purchase power may change. $100 may mean only a hamburger in that time. So we also need to consider about the purchasing power or the cash flow received. So when we are considering the price of a financial asset, we need to consider the cash flow and its uncertainty. Okay, so next we are going to talk about which kind of risk or uncertainty we could experience. Actually, there are a lot of types, but we also here address three kind of risk. First one is purchasing power risk, also means inflation risk. So it means that the purchase power over the same amount of money can change in the future. And the second one is credit risk or default risk. That means that it may not be returned by someone else, or someone who could default their payment. And the third one is about foreign exchange risk. As we know, the currency exchange rate may change between times. Yeah. So next, I also talk about the financial assets and the tangible assets. Usually they are linked. And in third, we talk about the role of financial assets, which can also be seen as the motivation or meaning of the financial assets. So we also talk about 2 points. First one is that it can transfer funds from someone who may have extra money and you want to invest to those who need a fund. So currently need money, like someone want to start a company, but he does not have enough money, but someone have extra money and want to invest to get some payback, get some returns. And the second is can be used to redistribute the risk. So first one is transfer fund, and second one is avoid the risk. And next, I also give an example, a story about three people. Three people who one of them want to do not have enough money, but he have the technicals to build some kind of machines, but he need extra money to start the company factory. And someone else have extra money and want to invest. So then we come into the end of this part, and we have some questions left by the authors. At first, which is the difference between tangible and financial assets and how they are related? So usually, so tangible assets means it's real, and the financial assets often come to a contract or a bond issued by a association or someone, and they are related because usually a financial bond would be linked to some property, like we are lending a car, and then the car is tangible, but we have a contract, which is a financial asset, to link them together. Second question is, what's the difference between debt instrument and equity instrument? So debt instrument is fixed amount of money, and equity instrument is a proportion of something. Second is what's meant by the cash flow of financial assets. It means that how it will give us money in the future. It can be the most simple case is that it will pay us a fixed amount of money in maybe after 2 years at a fixed point, and in the more complex example can be a cash flow, like each month we will receive a certain amount of money. Okay, then we come into the first question: 3 types of risk associated with investor in financial assets. So first one is purchasing power, second one is default or credit risk, and third one is exchange rate. And the fifth question, and also the last one, is the 2 principles of economics of financial assets. First is its it can transfer funds, and the second is it can transfer risk, redistribute risk. Okay, let me come into the second concept, which is the financial market. For me, I don't think we need to go a lot of details because this is a virtual concept, and so I will go through it very quickly. So, so it has three basic functions. At first is offer interaction of people, buyers and sellers, buyers and sellers. Okay, and the second one is have to give a mechanism to help everyone to share. Okay, liquidity. What is liquidity? Okay, great. Mechanism. A third is that it can reduce the cost of transaction. So there are two costs, which is the search cost and information cost. Search cost means that you want to search for someone you can deal with, and information cost is you need a way to calculate how much we need to measure, how much is the cash flow of the some target or some good, like we are looking for a car to buy, we need to measure which is the amount, price of a car, and maybe it's second hand, so it may have some price slowdown. We need to measure it, and a good market can help us to reduce the cost of measure it. And this is the financial market and its three basic functions. And in the following, they also try to talk about the participants. As we know, it can be some business entities, it can be some individuals, but I will skip this part. And also, we'll also talk about some categories, classifications of financial markets. We only need to know that it can be categorized into different ways, like the natural claim is debt or equity, and maturity and auto things. These are about the concept. I will skip this part. And in the following, before diving into the following, we can get through the three questions. The first one is the three economical functions of financial markets are to improve the price discovery process, enhance liquidity, reduce the cost of transaction. And the second one is there are various ways that financial markets can be classified. And third is the market participants include a lot of things. Yeah. And in the following, they also try to talk about the globalization of financial markets. I will skip this part. Okay, great. Then we come to the concept of derivative market. I think this is the important part. So before that, we can talk about cash market and financial assets. But we can also have derivative instruments. So there are two typical types of derivative instruments. So at first, I want to talk about what is derivative. It means that we can derive some new financial assets from financial assets. This may kind of confusing if you are firstly exposed to this concept. So generally, it means that if I have a contract that someone lend me some money and he promised he will pay me the money in the 10 years later, but now I need some part of it because maybe I need the money to borrow a car. It can be a way that I can transfer this contract to someone else, and they can give me money now, and I can use the money now, but we may have some discount. Like he lent me around $10,000, and I may sell it as a price of $800. so that I can get money immediately and use it for buying a car. So then we can see this contract as a derivative from the contract, the lending contract. Okay, so first we need to talk about the types of derivative instrument. So this one is a future or forward contract. It means that two parties agree to transact with respect to some financial assets as a predetermined price at a specific future data. So we have a fixed time and a fixed price, but we are not going to exchange it now. Instead, we are going to exchange it in the future. Great. And the second one is option contract. It gives the right to one side to have option, to have the right to force another side to buy a set or sell a set in the future. So it can be used in this case like I have a car and someone offer me a choice that I can 2 years later I can choose to sell it or not. But for each of the choice, the another side must accept it so that I can so that I can promise it, he can get a car. Okay, this is called put option. So when you have right to force someone to buy it, it means you are selling it. So this is a put option. So you got an option to put it away. And for another side, you can we can call it a call option, which means that you have a right to buy it in the future. Like some companies may offer you a special offer that you can buy a monitor 2 months later. But if you do not want to buy it, then it's fine. Okay, but if you want to buy it, then seller must give you. So this is called optional contract. This can also be sales. So often we can see that we are planting a lot of apples in the in a lot of trees. We plant a lot of trees, but we need to make a deal before the apple get mature because it's only like several weeks. If we cannot sell it, it will be rotated. So we hope to have a contract before, have a deal before the apple get matured. Then we can make a derivative, which is option contract. We give some people a right to buy it at a certain price in the future, but they can also refuse it. But we will just get the amount of money that we see this we sell this contract. So this kind of promise can be sold. Then we can see it as a derivative. So next, we also try to talk. At first, we talk about the types of derivative instruments, and the next is about the role of derivative instruments. It means the meaning of it or why we need this kind of instruments. So so here they also give some examples. So generally, I want to only mention about the concept, like you can avoid some risk or interest rate, like you are lending an amount of money, and if the risk rate get very high, it will cause problems. So it can help you to avoid this kind of risk. And I will skip this part because it's too long. And in the next we talk about advantages. So first, so this advantages is about over some corresponding cash markets for the same financial asset. Like we are selling a contract, a lending contract. Why we just sell a contract itself instead of we try to sell derivatives. There are three advantages. At first, it may cost less to execute a transaction. So back to the Apple example, if you are trying to sell a bunch of Apple directly, it will cost a lot of contract. You need to find someone who are who have a max, maybe they produce a factory who produce apple juice. It's hard to find someone like this. But if it's a derivative, it can be easily transacted. It's just maybe a digital proof. So it costs less to execute a transaction. And second, transaction typically can be accomplished faster. So it's just cheap to transact them. Then we come to the end of derivatives. So the key point is two basic types of derivatives, which is future contract, which means pay at the future with a fixed price at a predetermined data. And options. Options means that you have a right to buy something from me or sell something to me in the future. And the second one is why we need derivatives. It can be used to control the risks. But it was mentioned that I forgot to mention before that derivative often be seen as a gambling, purely randomness process, but actually it's not. And the third one is potential advantages than using the cash market. I have seen it before. It's just more cheaper and convenient to transfer between people. So I think in following is about some parts I am not very interested in. And we have a lot of innovations. Great. So I will end this video now.